Arguably, one of the best fights on UFC 300 is happening for the #1 contendership for the UFC lightweight belt. Charles Oliveira, the man who has won 12 of his last 13 fights, former champion, will be facing the man who is only 27 years old and is looking to make a statement in the lightweight division, Arman Tsarukyan. This is by far one of the most anticipated fights on UFC 300. There are so many questions about this fight. Can Armen's wrestling and jujitsu stop the threat of Oliveira on the ground? Can Armen strike with Oliveira? And finally, can Oliveira knock out or submit Armen? There are so many things to wonder about this fight, and we are going to answer all of these questions. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, comment, and subscribe. Now let's get into it. Charles Oliveira, one of the best lightweights in the world, will be facing the 4th ranked lightweight Arman Tsarukyan. Charles Oliveira, the man who holds multiple records in the UFC, notably the most submissions in the UFC, most finishes at 20, and most bonuses at 19, has a chance to rematch with Islam Makhachev and retain his lightweight belt back if he beats Arman Tsarukyan. And Arman Tsarukyan, the man who faced Islam Makhachev in his UFC debut, it was a fast-paced fight with high-level wrestling exchanges. Even though Tsarukyan lost by unanimous decision, that fight was considered to be the toughest test in Makhachev's career. Arman Tsarukyan is on a 3-fight win streak, and if he wins, he will most likely be the next in line to rematch Islam Makhachev. There are so many questions to ask about this fight, but the first question is, does Arman Tsarukyan have the wrestling and jiu-jitsu to beat Charles Oliveira? The answer, yes. Kinda, sort of. Armen has great clinch game, his ability to maintain control and his weight distribution and not really let anybody control him in the clinch game is one of his biggest advantages in the fight game. But the question with Armen comes down to, does he have the ability to hold down Oliveira long enough to inflict any damage on Oliveira? And the question also comes with Oliveira. Is Oliveira willing to pull guard or stand up? I think Islam Makhachev has shown that you can easily take down Charles Oliveira and choke him out immediately, but your skills and technique has to be flawless, and you have to do it right away. Because if you let Oliveira work on the ground or find something, that's where you lose. That's where you end up being choked out like Justin Gaethje, or you're in 2 different positions before he even submits you. Charles Oliveira is one of the deadliest guys on the ground, and if Armen doesn't have flawless technique and amazing grappling, he could find himself getting choked out by Charles Oliveira. The second question of the fight, can Armen strike with Oliveira? Armen has shown some weakness in the striking department, most notably the Gamrot fight. If you go back and watch the Gamrot and Arman Tsarukyan fight, when Armen would throw the leg kicks, he was getting hit with the right hand, but it wasn't terribly where he was going to get knocked out, but it was enough where you could see the rhythm and the beat from Gamrot kind of picking apart Arman Tsarukyan. But Armen has also shown improvements in his striking department as well, especially in the Dariush fight where he threw the knee up the middle and knocked out Dariush with the right hand just 64 seconds into the fight. So there are some negatives and positive that come with Arman Tsarukyan in the striking department. The question comes, can his chin hold up against Oliveira's striking, against his elbows and his knees? Because if Oliveira does land on you, especially like a right hook or a left hook or an overhand, he will drop you. And the prime example of that is Michael Chandler and Justin Gaethje, 2 phenomenal strikers who do have pretty good chins. The third question of this fight comes down to Oliveira. Can Oliveira knock out or submit Armen? The answer, of course. Oliveira is one of the best at fighting through adversity. The most notable examples of this would be the Michael Chandler fight, the Justin Gaethje fight, and the Dariush fight. In all 3 fights, Oliveira was hit with big shots or taken down, and there was that feeling of, oh no, is this the end of Oliveira? And then moments later, Oliveira surprises everybody with a knockout or a submission. Although this fight is close, I feel like the experience and striking arsenal and power of Oliveira will help him beat Arman Tsarukyan. I think Arman Tsarukyan is a great fighter, and he's very young, and he has adapted and developed really well in the UFC so far. His first fight in the UFC, he was 22 years old, and he is already 10 times a better fighter now than he was then. But has Armen hit that level yet? The feeling of him being a true #1 contender and beat one of the baddest lightweights out there, Oliveria, and potentially fighting a title fight again. And I don't think his time is right now. And Arman Tsarukyan has shown some weakness in the past where it concerns me when he is fighting Oliveira. When you go back and watch Armen and Gamrot fight, Armen gave up his back a lot to Gamrot. And it was a little questionable because it was like, if Gamrot was really good in the submission game, he could finish Armen from his back. But he couldn't. And Armen is very slick and his takedown defense is really well and his grappling has improved a lot. But if somehow Oliveira gets to the back of Armen, it's over. Oliveira is the scariest guy in anybody's guard and on anybody's back. He is probably the most dangerous submission artist there is out there. And his records speak for themselves. I think there will be a lot of holes that Armen will open up in the striking department that will give Oliveira the opportunity to either knock out or take down Arman Tsarukyan and choke him out. Now, Oliveira isn't known for his takedowns, but if you go back and watch the Dariush fight, Oliveira dropped Beneil Dariush and then ground and pounded his way out. Oliveira is there still in the clinch game and grappling department where he can take someone down and still finish them. And that is something you need to look forward. I think Armen will put up a great fight, but I think Oliveira dominates Arman Tsarukyan, and I think Armen could find himself either getting knocked out or submitted by Charles Oliveira. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. See you in the next video.